True beer nerds, get ready. Today we're crossing the wide worlds of video games and beer and looking at the many video game inspired beers on the market today. Hello beer nerds, this is Beer by the Numbers. A big thank you to Mostly Michigan Beer Reviews for suggesting the topic for this week's episode. I'll throw a link to his channel down below. You know, as a nerd through and through, I like a good video game session while I knock back a few cold ones. And a lot of brewers must be nerds too, because there are a lot of beers named after video games out there in the market. Today we'll serve up a flight of 5 video game themed beers. Let's get started. Our first beer is probably the most readily available, especially if you live in the Midwest like me, and that's the 8-Bit Pale Ale from Tallgrass Brewing. According to the brewer's website, 8-Bit Pale Ale pays homage to the classic yet complex video game systems that weren't perfect but still sparked our imagination. Notes of fruit and pine resin dominate the aroma, with bright hops and a vibrant tropical fruit flavors shining through in this medium-bodied American pale ale. I could speak from experience that this beer is delicious. Next we have Conky Dong. Hardy har har, very funny hoof-hearted brewing, but seriously, this sounds like a great beer. It's an imperial IPA that's been barrel-aged in what one could probably call Donkey Kong barrels. Alright, that was a really bad one, but this beer is dry hopped with Galaxy, Simcoe, and Dr. Rudy hops to give it a seriously hoppy bite as strong as the Kong himself. Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster is an homage not only to Galaga, my favorite arcade game, but also is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which references the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster as the best drink in the universe. Some might argue that this double Belgian IPA might very well be the best drink, with its aroma of guava and lemons and a clean bitterness that hides a solid 10.2% ABV. This past summer, Sound Brewery out of Washington released 3 beers to celebrate the release of Mortal Kombat X, consisting of a Scorpion Imperial Stout with chilies and vanilla bean, Sub-Zero Imperial IPA, the perfect mixture of hops and malt, and Rated Imperial Saison, a Belgian-style ale that gives you an electrifying blast of hops and CO2. Whew, that was a lot of marketing speak. I'm not sure if there are a lot of these left out there, and they'd be pretty old if you did manage to find one, but this was certainly a really cool limited beer run. Finally, back in 2015, Sierra Nevada celebrated the seasonal release of their OKtoberfest beer with an old-school video game. In the game, you jump on top of a series of moving, frothy beer mugs in an attempt to collect water, hops, barley, and yeast in order to brew a new beer. It sounds simple, but apparently this game was really hard. Unfortunately, after poking and prodding around Sierra Nevada's website, I'm pretty confident that they took the game down for good. It's a shame, really. I wanted to play the game that launched 1,000 beers. So there you have it, beer nerds. 5 beers inspired by video games. There are dozens more out there, though. Comment below if you've had any of these or any other video game beers. Thanks again to Mostly Michigan Beer Reviews for the topic suggestion. If you enjoyed this episode of Beer by the Numbers, smash that like button below and help a small brew tuber out. And if you want to be alerted each time we tap a fresh episode of Beer by the Numbers, hit that subscribe button. Stay curious, beer nerds, and as Napoleon once said, on victory, you deserve beer. On defeat, you need it.